Today is November the 16th and it's time to plant tulips. Tulips is the easiest cut flowers that you can ever grow in your garden. You can just bury the bulbs in the ground and then cover it back like that. I throw the bulbs in my garden bed right here because I want to create a natural look. Okay, so I will technically bury the bulbs wherever they land. The depth of the hole should be 3 times of the size of the tulip bulbs. You can see when we add a lot of compost and mulch on the bed, the soil is very easy to work with. It's like fluffy and soft. I like to plant tulips in late fall or early winter because of the global warming. If I plant them too early, like in early fall, they are going to sprout. We don't want that to happen because we want them to sprout in spring. And the temperature has been warm, in fall recently, so this is the perfect time. Also, this time of the year, garden center would put tulip bulbs on sale because they are trying to get rid of them. So these tulips bulbs is like 50% off. You can even find online. So I save a lot of money buying the tulip bulbs this time of the year and planting them this time of the year. The only concern of planting tulips in your garden is the animals. Tulips are favorite. They are candy for animals. They like to eat the flowers, eat the leaves. So you want to make sure that you protect them from animals. You can use the animal resistant spray, or you can plant your tulips in a fenced area, or you can plant your tulip bulbs in so many different spots in your garden. Don't put all your tulips, don't plant all your tulips in one spot. You also don't have to water these tulip bulbs at all, as long as the soil in your garden is moist. The tulip bulbs that I just ordered a few days ago has arrived. See, I told you. Every seller wants to sell their tulips as fast as possible because this can expire if it's past winter. And that's why they are giving us big discount, and we should take advantage of this time of the year. I am going to plant these specialty tulip bulbs inside my vegetable garden for 2 reasons. First, I want to give them additional protection from animals. When the animal want to eat my tulips in my garden, they are likely to find the cheap tulips outside the vegetable garden first, like in the flower border. And this guy will be hugged in and tucked in and hidden inside my vegetable garden. And the second reason is because I don't want to feel guilty to cut them in spring for my flower design. If I plant them in my flower border in the front, I would feel guilty to death to cut them to take away the beauty from my flower border. So that's why I plant them here next to my vegetable. I am starting from digging a big flat hole and make this hole as flat as possible. I am treating these tulip bulbs like vegetables. I'm gonna come here to harvest them as soon as they're ready. I place them very close to each other to save my growing space. Just make sure that they don't touch each other to give them a little more room to grow and to not fight with each other. And again, the depth of the trench or the hole should be about 3 times of the size of the bulbs, or maybe even 4 times if you want long stem for cut flowers. Now cover them with the soil that we just put aside. In general, you should water your tulip bulbs right after you planted them. But in my area in New Jersey in November, we usually get a lot of rain. So it's kind of no point to plant my tulip bulbs when they're gonna, oh, it's raining, when it's gonna rain anyway. So, lucky me. But if you're in a drier area, you should water them, definitely. Tulips are one of the plants that don't like to sit in wet soil. That's why I use this terracotta pot, because the excess water can evaporate from the side of the pot, and that will help with the drainage. I also use this soil that is recycled and has some sand in it. And because the tulip bulbs are already well fed by the growers, so they don't need rich soil and they don't need extra fertilizer. This time I am using lasagna technique. That means I plant tulips in layers in the same pot. At the bottom layer, I put the taller variety of tulip bulbs, and then I put the soil on top of them, and then I put the shorter variety of tulip bulbs on top of everything. I am not going to worry if the bulbs are sitting on top of each other. They will manage to grow, in spring by themselves. And doing this, in spring I will have this pot full of tulips. It will be like so compact of tulips. You want to leave some space between the tulips and the side of the pot, because you want the soil to insulate these tulips. You don't want our tulip bulbs to get too cold in winter time. And I am placing this pot close to my house, close to this wall, because I want to make sure that our tulip bulbs get extra protection in winter time. And that's because soil in a planter can get colder than soil in the garden. Finn! He's waiting for his daddy. I am going to plant forget-me-not and some ground cover flowers on top of these tulips, just for fun. Then I'm gonna top with potting mix. Tulips don't like to sit on a wet soil, but it doesn't mean that they don't need water. You should water them when you first plant them. Make sure they get a lot of water. And especially when you plant them in a pot like this. Soil in a pot will have less moisture than in the garden. And it will drain a lot faster than in the garden. So, do you see that when I water this pot, the water run down pretty fast? And that is the good indicator of well-drained soil. This is exactly what tulip needs. And because I have a lot of squirrels in this part of the garden, I am going to protect my tulip with chicken wire. Make sure that nobody come here and dig the tulip bulbs up.
Did you ever stop and think, why spend too much time just getting ready? Let me be honest, I don't know a single thing that I haven't done to make you notice me. Let me be real here. When I see you, my heart starts racing, but I don't know if I like this chasing and playing and waiting around. It's a shame that my hands start shaking all of the time when you're around me. But this time,
Oh,
girl, I
no.
know what's bothering me. I need somebody to love. Oh, nah, 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 nah. Don't you see what's wrong with me? I need somebody to love. Oh, oh, nah, nah. I don't know what I could say to convince you to hang around when you don't have to. There's so much that I'm still keeping to myself, 'cause you don't listen, babe. But still you got me missing you. When I see you, my heart starts racing, but I don't know if I like this chasing and playing and waiting around. It's a shame that my hands start shaking all of the time when you're around me. But this time, girl, I know what's bothering me. I need somebody to love. Oh, nah, 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 nah. Don't you see what's wrong with me? I need somebody to love. Oh, oh, nah, nah.
I usually don't water my tulips at all, especially the one that I plant in the ground, because here in New Jersey we get rain in spring about once a week, and that's plenty enough for tulips. But these, I plant them in a planters very densely and also in terracotta pot. They need a little bit more water so they don't droop like this. These tulips behind me, they are about 3 to 4 years old, and every year the flowers get smaller and smaller because when we get the tulip bulbs, these bulbs, they are fed. They are so fed by the farmers who sell the bulbs to us, okay? And the first year, they have all the energy in the bulbs to produce such a big flowers. And the second year, because they already spent, the energy on first year flower, the second year, they get smaller. And the third year, smaller and smaller. And sometimes, they end up bloom like every 2 years. So every year I would buy new bulbs and add to this flower border. I have done nothing with these tulips that I plant in my vegetable garden. I just bury them in the ground and water once and nothing else at all, I promise. They are bloom beautifully because they are first year bulb. This is brand new bulbs, they are already fed like I said before. And this variety, oh my god, they're so cute. Oh my god, they don't smell. They're so cute. Look at this one. Look at this goodness. Oh. Oh. Yep, these are the second year tulips. Okay. They just produce foliage. Some of them produce like very small bloom, but They are storing energy, guys. They're gonna bloom beautifully next year. The reason why I grow so many varieties because some variety can bloom first and some varieties can bloom later. This way I always have tulips in my garden for myself and also for my bouquets. I buried these tulips in this spot 3 years ago. The first year they of course bloom beautifully and fully and so big and so robust. But the second year they don't bloom at all because all the energy, were used to produce the first year flowers. So the second year they just have the foliage, and the foliage absorb the energy from the sun, and then they use the nutrient in the soil, take some water, and then they went dormant in the second year. And then the third year, here we go, they bloom again. These are the second year tulip bulbs. They just produce foliage and they are soaking up the energy, and then they will bloom next year, I hope. I also find that regular tulips like this, just straight single red tulips, they always bloom every year for some reason. I used to hate red tulips because they are so bright. They don't go with the soft pastel color tone in springtime, but they pop in our gardens. Underwatering can be okay with tulips, but if you overwater them, they can die, okay, because the bulbs can rot. So it's always safer to be on a underwatering side. And you already see, right, when they need water, they will show you. They will droop, and after you water them, they will, come back up like this. Except this one. I don't know why, so I'm gonna cut it. Ta-da! The temperature today rises to around 70 degrees Fahrenheit. And when this happens, tulip bursts open. And when this happens, it is the best time to harvest your tulips before they open any further, because the earlier you cut them, the longer they will last in your vase. For the longest vase life, you wanna cut them when they are just about to open, when they just start showing the color, okay? This one will be a little bit too soon, okay? This one not a little bit, this is way too late. You can see the pollens, you can see the center of the tulips. This not gonna last super long, okay? You can also cut when they are at this stage too, but this one will last longer. Something like this can last, a few days too, but this is the best. But I am done convincing you to do anything, okay? So I'm gonna just prove my point by just do a little experiment with you, okay? So I'm gonna cut this one. And I'm gonna cut this one too. And this one that is open but not fully open yet. And this one that is like blown open. And also this one that is still green. Then the next question is, how deep should you cut your tulips? And that is up to you. If you want to have a chance that they will bloom again next year, you want to leave the leaves of the tulip plants with the tulips, so the leaves can soak the energy from the sun and then store that energy in the bulbs to produce next year bloom. I don't expect this tulip that I just cut to bloom again next year because I cut it right at the base of the plant. But if you want longer stem, then you have no choice. You should cut them as deep as possible. And also, if you want to arrange the tulips with the leaves like this, it's totally up to you. You can also pull the tulip bulbs from the ground like this for longer stem. Here we go. I get the shortest stem if I cut only 2 leaves from the plants, and I get longer stem if I cut right at the base. And if I pull the bulbs up with me, they get the longest stem. I used to harvest tulips like this when I started growing tulips for cut flowers by following flower farming practice. And it makes sense because you get the longest stem, and also you can store this tulips in refrigerator like this, okay, for 4 weeks. And whenever you want to use it for selling or for arranging, you take it out, cut off the bulbs, and then put it in water, and your tulips will start blooming. So I'm gonna wrap them, including the one that I don't take the bulbs out, and we'll see if they last longer with the bulbs or not. And lay it sideways in refrigerator like that. I'm also going to experiment with this guy. They are 10 inches. Today is April 19, and I will put them in water separately. And we'll see which one lasts longest, and if they are going to grow a little longer. And this one I'm gonna keep it for myself. And this is the reason why I got them in my vegetable garden in the fence in the back of the greenhouse here, because I don't want to feel guilty if I really have to cut them. I don't remember if this is second year or third year, but the bloom is so much smaller than the first year bloom. My new favorite tulips in the whole wide world, Liber Star. They have such a long stem, so I'm gonna add right in the middle and make them float on top of the other flowers in this bouquet. Maybe this right here. Oh. And one more right here. Today is April 22nd, and I am very happy with the tulips in my wildflowers garden. Look at these guys, they are like peonies. Look at that. 6 days later, our tulips are still blooming. This one was closed when I cut it, and 6 days later, it still looked very beautiful. This one I cut when it was a little bit open, and it looked just pretty too, but not as much as this one. This one I cut when it open, but not blown open yet. It looks good, but not as good as the one that I cut it when it was closed like this one. And this one I cut it when it was blown open. I can see, it start rotting a little bit right here. See the side there? But it's not bad, still pretty. The one that I cut when it was closed drink a lot of water. That makes sense because it take the water to, open up the flowers. And the rest, they don't drink a lot of water. The blown open one don't drink very little bit. Let's check on the tulips that we dry store. They don't look happy at all. But well, we'll see. 6 days ago they were 10 inches. And now they're like 13 inches. But this one is getting so tall. This one 13 inches and a half. Oh my god, almost 14 inches. And some varieties can grow even taller depending on the full size of that tulips. Like this one, when I cut it, it was like this tall and it grew about 5 inches. So this is back to my point why I don't pull the bulbs out from the ground and leave the plant in the garden, because I know that the stem are going to get longer after I cut them. So I don't really need to kill my tulip plants by pulling the bulbs out. But if you grow them for selling to florists or to use for high-end flower design, I totally understand. Oh,
Welcome, this is your life now, a wasteland where we all take a vow. Some glow due to radiation, two heads where there usually is one. Unsung. With you, I know we'll find a way through the fallout, come what may. With every mutation, we'll embrace the change. With you,
I don't see a big difference between the tulips that I cut when they are bud stage and the tulip that I cut when they are already open. The only little differences are that the tulip in the bud stage last maybe 1 or 2 days longer. They look more beautiful 1 or 2 days than the one that already open. And the other thing that I think is kind of important, but not a big deal for a lot of people, is that the one that I cut in the bud stage will slowly open up in the flower arrangement. That make your bouquet so lively, so like that's dynamic, like when you see flowers in the bouquets slowly opening up like they are growing, that's very special to me. But the one that's already open, they already open, there's no gimmick or there's no story about it. So I still recommend cutting them at the bud stage instead of when they are already open, unless you want to see your tulips open in your garden first before you arrange them. Ooh. The tulips that I store dry in my refrigerator, they're not super happy at all. I don't see any difference of the one with the bulbs or the one without the bulbs, but I'm going to test anyway. Now I'm gonna place them in the water and we'll see what will happen.